Our discussion is going to focus on the proper way to mark your zones. Don't forget, in trading, we all trade the same way. Though we may have different names, we call all of these terminologies. But one thing I want you to know is that we all trade the same way. Either you are trading SMC, you are trading SMC Smart Money Concept, or you are trading ICT, or you are trading the engulfing, or whatever method you are trading. All you just have to know is that our trading is we trade virtually the same thing we see on the screen. The only difference is that the way we approach it is different. So what we're doing today, what we're learning now is how proper way to mark our zones. So your zones, like for people who trade using SMC, they talk about order blocks. And those who trade using engulfing system, trading system, like as I do, we call it engulfing. Now, don't also forget that in dealing with engulfing or dealing with marking of zones and all of that, you also must consider that the wick of the candle or the shadow is equally very important. So there is a way, there is a proper way. Of course, there's no one way of doing a thing, but in this case, I've come to realize that in my years of using engulfing, marking the zones or order block, as the name you may call it, I've come to realize that it's always very important to always consider the wick while you are marking. Ideally, the proper way to mark this is a typical example of bearish engulfing. So how do we mark this? So the proper way we mark it is to mark only the blue, only the green zone. That is the way that most of us, that is how most of us do the marking. You only mark this. But in this, I've come to realize in a situation where you have the second week to be higher or to be longer than this, the proper thing for you to do is to extend it to that particular one. Very, very important, because sometimes you may have situation where the wick is so long like this, and this is a zone you only mark. Sometimes another candle comes into this zone and is able to close above this place. So when the candle closes above this place, your bias has changed. That, oh, I'm no longer looking for a sell. This is a bearish engulfing, and this is a zone. It means when price return here, you must be looking for a sell. But in this case, you realize that the next candle that come into this zone is able to close with a body. It close above this zone, then your bias change. That, oh, I'm no longer looking for a sell. Now I'll be looking for a buy. I realized that most of the time, the next candle that will be formed or previous candle that will form will still go down, keep selling. So I've come to realize that the major problem is the fact that this place, this particular place here, this point here, okay, let me remove this. If this particular spot here, if we draw this particular place here, this is our resistance. This zone is a resistance zone. So when you are marking your engulfing or you are marking your order block or whatever name you call it, it is always good for you to consider marking the wick of both candles. Very, very important. So by the time price return to this zone, until price is able to close with body above the zone here before your bias to shift. But as long as you have your bias, imagine you mark this way and the candle close above this place, don't change your bias now. So what is now the proper way to mark? Just extend this to this place and know that the whole of this place is a zone for sale. Don't forget that a zone is just a zone. Yeah, the fact that this is a Z zone does not mean price will come here and start selling. So when price return to this zone, you have to look other parameters for you to now decide that, okay, price want to sell. So this is a mistake a lot of people make. They say, oh, this is a sell zone. When price return here, it must sell. No, not 100%. Most of the time, let me even say 60 or 70% of the time, price may return here, break the zone, and keep going, depending on what is happening on the higher time frame. So you don't just conclude based on that. So now let's go to chart and mark based on what I just explained to you now. Okay, so look at this particular one now. This is an engulfing. This is engulfing. So this ideal way you will mark before. Now this is what you just mark. You say, oh, this is where, when price return to this place, I'm going to sell. Yes, of course, price return and keep selling. If we go to lower time frame now, you see that after this price return here, certain conditions were met here that now depict that the price want to go further down. So what I did think to do, because this same price that came here and started selling from here, this candle might have as well come this high up to this point before start dropping. So in that case, so the ideal thing to do is to mark to this point. Yes, mark to this point. Yes, you don't know when the candle decided, retesting candle decided to go this far, you are not shaking, because you want to see what price actually do at this point before you make your decision either to sell or not to sell. So that is it. That is one. Yes, if you also consider this is another engulfing. This is engulfing candle, but in this case, this you can see is about 1, 2, 3. It's about 3 candle that was able to engulf this bullish candle. So in that case, you can see that there is a wick here. You draw it to the wick. Now, when price return, so you can now, when price return to this zone here, which is this is the price that return after the descent, then price still what? Price is sell. So the same way is, let's look for more examples. Hopefully we'll be able to see, there are several of them, so several of situations like that where the next candle that return is okay. So let's see. Okay, look at this. Yes, this, look at this. This is another one. This is bullish, this is bearish engulfing. Yes, as a matter of fact, is bearish engulfing. So this is one candle here, was able to engulf the bull candle. Then this is a candle that retests that zone. And what happened? Price actually went down. This is H, don't mind you, this is H4 candle. Okay. So, and another candle came into that zone again, retest that zone again, but it couldn't close. You can see it couldn't close above the zone with the body. Okay. So let's look at this proper way of marking. So we mark this. So you have to mark the whole of this. You can now see. So we mark, so because this is the same zone here, you can stretch it here. We can see what price did. Price came to this zone here. Price couldn't, you find difficult. First candle, second candle, third candle, fourth candle, fifth candle, couldn't close until price was able to close below this, retest the range, went down a bit before price started going up. And that is because what is happening here is a retracement of what is happening on the weekly time frame. If you switch to weekly time frame, yeah, look at it. The whole of that move here is just a retracement. You can see what is actually happening on weekly time frame is pure bullish price action. So let's get back. Okay, let's use 1 hour time frame, or probably we check some other pair. So I believe you are getting what we're passing across. So this is to ensure that you include the wick of the candle in the marking of your zone. Very, very important. Okay, look at this. Look at this particular one. This is engulfing. This is bullish engulfing. So ideally, you only mark the body of the bear candle, which is this one. If you only mark this one now, look at it. If you only mark this. Now you didn't consider the this, you can see when the candle that came to actually retest the zone here deeper was able to, the wick of the candle was able to travel farther than the candle, the wick of the bear candle that you mark. So what do? This is the bullish candle next to the bear candle. So that formed the engulf, so you move it down. You can now see. So price was actually trading within that zone. So price didn't break the zone. So very, very important. So in your marking of zone, always ensure that you, okay, let's look at another pair and see for ourselves. So, okay. So all we're trying to say is in your marking, always ensure you include, let me see, take it to H4. Yeah. Okay, look at this particular one. See? Yeah. So this I did into mark. So in this case, you see, the bear candle wick is not as long as the bull candle. So this is perfect like this. Perfect marking. You see, when price, all of these are just inducement. The price couldn't get to this place. At the end, price was eventually able to get to where the the bear, the sell zone is, and price starts selling. So in your marking, always ensure you include, okay, look at this. Look at this. Yeah, look at this. So if you mark this zone now, you see, you mark this zone, you can see, thank God, see the week, you see, this price came, and this, these are the candles that are meant to retest the zone. But you know, this retest the zone here couldn't give a clear directive. If you go on a lower time frame, you see that. But the price, this candle were able to, you know, they were able to wick above the zone, but eventually the body of the candle couldn't even close above this, because if the body has closed above this, then this zone has been violated. Then you'll be looking for buy instead of sell. At the end of the day, what happened? The price eventually dropped. So you understand that the market is full of a lot of liquidity grab, liquidity taking, and all of that. So, and that is why you must ensure that in your marking, the wick of the two, okay, this is it. You can see this is a bear candle that we mark for bullish engulfing. This is a next candle, which is the bull candle that is beside it. So you have to, it's a must for you to mark, yes, mark this. So the whole of this zone is your buy zone. So as price return back to this place, price can return and turn back from the tip here, price may even come deeper here and what, and start going up. So you don't just say, oh, price is not expected to go beyond this line. No, price can go beyond this. It is until a body of a body of candle close above this range that we can now say, oh, our bias should shift. So very, very important. Look at this particular zone also. This is, we mark this zone, and of course when price eventually return this zone to this zone, the price begins to sell. So I want to believe you've learned one or two things. Okay, look at this one also. Look at this, yeah, look at it. See, price return to this zone here, sold, return back to that zone again, and it's still what? Still selling. So very, very important. So in your marking, ensure that you include the wick of the two candle. Yes, the two first candle, like I marked earlier. For this, before, ordinarily, this is what many people will mark. They will mark this. Yes, of course, that's what, but you also must consider that at the top here, that is where the resistance is hanging. Of course, in this channel, there's a video that explains of that, how bullish engulfing, how resistance is formed, There's a video that explains that. So if you watch that video, you'll be able to understand perfectly what I've just explained to you. So subsequently, when you are marking, ensure that you include the wick of the second candle. Don't just mark the bear candle or the bull candle, as the case may be. just ensure that you pull if the wick of the other one is longer than the bull candle, make sure the wick, this is, in this case, this is a bull candle that we are marking because we are marking the zone for sell. But the bear candle here is longer, the wick is longer, so we have to do what? We have to move it here. So thank you so much. If you get value from the video, kindly like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification button so that you can always get updates from us. And don't forget to join the Telegram community